Hello everybody, it's so good to see you. Welcome back to my vlog. My name is Claith, and I should tell you that we already sanitized our hands, and of course we are not 1 meter apart, but we are UAE residents, and if you're interested in taking the COVID vaccine, you can do that. Okay. Today I'm with a special guest. I'm with somebody that I have known for a very long time, and I've actually wanted this opportunity so much, but it had never been granted. But ladies and gentlemen, today, drum rolls, is the day that I present to you the one and only Shakira.
Voila, we are here and we're
Today.
so excited to get into this.
True. So I want to quickly dive into this because I know a lot of you people are out there waiting and you want to see what we're going to talk about. So the first thing is almost, should I say almost everyone or everyone? Almost everyone asks me, how can I come to Dubai? How can I get a job? Where can I start from? How do I do it? And because I cannot speak of my own journey, everyone's journey is different, but it's better yet to bring in people that will tell you about how they came to Dubai, when they came to Dubai, and how you can actually come to Dubai.
Yeah.
So Shakira, before I tell you what she does, let's start. How did you pack up your bags?
Well, it was very easy for me because, since school, I never really wanted to work in Uganda. As you know, the jobs in Uganda, you're so overworked and very underpaid. And so it was not my goal to stay there at all. So before graduation, I have a friend who lives here in Sharjah. Her name is Jalira.
I'm offended.
So before graduation, she came home for vacation and we went, for a coffee to speak and catch up, and she was telling me about her life here in the UAE. And I was very intrigued, I was like, well, that could be the place that I could move, because I was really looking for a place to go where I can work. I can find work that's within my, profession that will give me a good pay and I would still enjoy it, and also a little bit closer to home. And this place fits just perfectly
That's
for me.
true. That's true.
It fit just perfectly for me. So after graduation in 2015, we usually graduate in Jan, so
Yes.
I moved here in April of 2015.
She was determined.
I was so determined. I did not let any time pass by. As soon as I had this conversation with my friend and she told me all about it, of course, it's not very easy to come here without a job. Let me give you a backstory. In the year 2015 as well, we had a recruitment of Qatar Airways.
Yes.
There was a recruitment there, and I had a chance to get hired then, but I did not have my passport ready. Well, it was in the process. So I did not get hired because my passport was not ready. In 2015, April, there was a recruitment for Qatar Airways here in Dubai. So my aim initially while coming here was to go for that recruitment event, because I was thinking if they chose me in Uganda, they'll choose me here, right?
Yes.
And
That's correct.
that was what that was my driving force. I was like, I have a job. It's with Qatar Airways and I'm gonna get it in Dubai.
Yes.
So I got my visa, I bought my ticket, I booked my spot at this recruitment event, and I came here to Dubai.
Okay, so you're talking about, getting your visa and then your passport and all. One of the major problems that actually people face, leave alone the fact that I work with Get Quick Caribbean Tours, whereby we issue visas, book your hotel flights and tickets and everything. Somebody's going to tell you, Clay, I do not have the 6 million for the visa right now. Is it okay if I first pay 2? And I'm in shock, like, whoa, 6 million? 2 million? What are you talking about? How easy was it for you to get truthful people to actually tell you a visa costs this much, a ticket costs? I know that you have always been eloquent, elite about so many things, but did you also sit behind a computer? How did that go for you?
Actually, the initial stages were quite difficult because, like I told you, it was just, how you have a conversation with something and then a light goes off in your head, like, I'm gonna do this. And then, of course, there's this backstory that I gave to you. So it was initially difficult because I did not do any research about it. I just jumped in. And so it was difficult, but I was lucky that my friend lived here and she had a few connections here and there, and she could refer me to people that could help me get those things like quite easier. So in my experience it was not very difficult, but I think it could have been easier if I had let's say a company like Get Quick that will get everything done for me as fast as possible. It took a little bit of time, maybe I think 3 weeks planning. I think if you have the proper a company that will help you do all those things, it could take less time, maybe
Yeah.
a week or two, or
Exactly.
it took me quite a while to actually learn, because you can tell, like, from January until April, that's quite some time.
Yes.
It was because of visa here, flights here, you're just trying to find the best price for the visa, the
Yes.
best price for your flight,
Yeah.
the best price for everything. And if you don't have a person doing that for you, it becomes a little bit difficult. But I was lucky that my friend was here and she knew a few people. Of course, we had to go from one person to another to find like the best one. But in the end, it was easy. It was, we thank God.
Yeah.
In every situation, we thank God,
So one of the greatest challenges I used to face growing up was actually telling my mom that I want to move, because parents are so comfortable with you being in one place, but they don't get to think that when you go out there you can actually do it on your own, or like they trust you to be okay. Now you get your ticket and your visa, you've made up your mind. How did you say, you know what, Mom, Dad?
Sadly, I didn't give them any choice.
Yeah, children of these days.
I didn't give them any choice, but of course, I come from a family where like my parents are very understanding. I'm so thankful to God, and they have your best interests at heart, and they trust you to make the good decisions.
This is true.
For yourself, So when I decided that I did not want to live at home, I did tell my mom, because she was telling me, oh, now you're graduating, did you find a job? And before I even knew that I'll move to Dubai, I told her, I'm not going to work in Uganda, so there's no point for me to find a job. So I think I had conditioned her mind.
Yeah,
already to, she already knew that I was looking to go to another place, not Uganda. And so when I told her that, hey, my friend Jalira, she's working here and she has told me about ABCD.
Big shouts to you, Jalira. They've mentioned you like
Cheers,
20
girl.
times in this interview.
Anyway, so she was calm, because she knows her as well and she trusts this girl, and me and her have been friends for quite some time as well. We should meet her sometime.
I can't wait. Now let's talk about the time that you actually arrived. So was Dubai everything that you thought of it to be? Was it all your dreams and goals in one city?
Listen, I saw Dubai from the plane. I arrived in the night.
Yeah.
I saw the lights of the Sheikh Zayed Road. Guys, if you know the Sheikh Zayed Road, it's it has the most lanes in the world. It has 8 lanes. Just
Yeah.
one. Oh my God, it's a wonder of the world.
Yes.
So in the flight, you can see the length of this flight, like especially in the night flight.
Yeah.
I looked through the window and I was like, wow. I was like dumbstruck. I could not find the words to. And then when I arrived to the airport, I was like, oh, I can stay here.
Already?
Yeah. And then when I went outside the next day, we went to Burj Khalifa. I was like, oh, what wonders God has made for us in this world, It was an out of this world experience. And until now, every time I go to downtown Dubai, I still don't get used to it,
I know.
I go there and I'm like, wow. Every
I
single time.
always take you back, a step back, because we want to know, because where we are heading, I want you to know her journey and what happened. So now you get here into Dubai. Where were you sleeping? Where were you staying? What were you doing? How did you get your job?
Oh, dear.
What next?
So, let's talk about where I was staying first. As I mentioned, my friend lives in Sharjah.
Of course, please be reminded that we are going to talk about this friend for a very, very long time.
Really, I thank God for her every day, because she aided this decision and I never regret it at all. This is the best decision that I made for myself.
Oh, wow.
I don't regret it at all.
Yes.
So anyway, she lives in Sharjah and she was not able to pick me up. But my cousin Famida, she shouts out to you, girl.
Regardless of shout out.
She lived in International City at that time, and so I arranged to stay at her place for a while. Luckily, she had her own place, and I could stay with her for a while I was, because I had an appointment for a job at Qatar Airways.
Wow.
In my head, that was the job for me, because
Yeah.
I was set, like, this is the job that I came for, and I'm going to get it.
Yes.
So I stayed with her for a while. I went for this interview. Actually, it did go well until like a few stages later, where when you, I don't know if you've been through the interview for being an air hostess, have
I
you?
have.
So you're not supposed to disclose that you have scars, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
I disclosed that I have a scar,
Same thing I did.
and they did not let me go through the next stage.
But actually somebody told me, for people out there, what you should do, you can put foundation or concealer. They will not see it.
See, I didn't know this. Anyway, so I didn't get this job. So now my mind was like, okay, so I didn't get this job. This is why I came here. What am I gonna do?
This brings me to my next question. Did you get disappointed? Did you get depressed? Did you get frustrated? And for how long did this happen? Because unlike for your case, whereby you came with your mind already set for the job that you want and all, we have people here, actually it's called tamaking. People come here and they stay here for literally 9 months. 3 months visa, in and out, no job. So did you get depressed? Did you get frustrated? Take me through that.
Well, honestly, I was so disappointed that I didn't get this job.
Sorry.
I cried tears, like actual wet tears. I really cried that I didn't get this job. But after crying, I sat down and called myself to a meeting, and then I said, okay, you spent this money to come and go to this interview, and you did not get this job. Are you just gonna sit here and wait for the 3 months to elapse and then you go home? And I was like, no, this is not a life I want for myself. I don't want to go home. And when you come here and you're like, I'm going to get this job, and you don't get the job.
But Shakira has always been focused. Our OGs and OBs out there, this girl has always been focused.
So anyway, after calling myself to a meeting, I got my laptop out of my bag, because until that point I did not get my laptop out of my bag, because I knew that I was going to get this job. Unfortunately, I did not get it. This was God's plan. We thank God for everything. And so I got my laptop out and I started to look online. So if you're here in Dubai and you're trying to find a job, my biggest advice is, even after you go outside to those walk-in interviews, and when you go back home, take your computer, laptop, whatever you use, maybe your phone, and don't spend a minute without sending out your resume, because this is how I got my job. I would of course, go to walk-in interviews here and there. I had, my cousin used to send me notifications, links, like there's a walk-in interview here, you can go there, there's a walk-in interview. But the way that I got this job is, I would go home every evening, I would sit with my laptop and send my resume out. And when you go to those meetings that you meet people that are doing the interview, you have to present yourself in a positive light. Like, you have to, it's like going to a place and they give you a phone, like an Apple phone. They present it to you, but then they give you the specs, and they show it to you in the brightest colors that they have, so you can see that this is an actual beautiful phone, that when you buy it, it would be the purchase of your life, So when you go to places like that and you meet the people, you have to present your best authentic self. You have to be very well groomed. Manners are also very important in circumstances like that. You have to learn to say please and thank you. And basically just maintain a positive outlook on things, because people really, you can go to an interview and they'll ask you, it might seem like a stupid question, like, what are you going to do tomorrow?
Exactly.
What plan do you have tomorrow? Like, after here, what are you going to do? And you'd be like, why are you asking me that question?
I'm here for this job interview.
But you must answer this question with truth. Usually, people say that you should go to an interview and lie. I don't suggest that.
Yeah, this is true.
I do not suggest that. I suggest that you be your true, authentic self. Present yourself in the best light, but without lying. Because then a person will take you with knowing that this is your strengths, these are your weaknesses, this is the place that you have to work in. For example, the interview that I went to. So, I went home, applied online, and finally a company that I really wanted to work for called me. So I went to this interview. And the guy, very nice guy, very nice Polish man, he took my interview and he was like, oh, how are you? And so he asked me, so have you worked in a hotel before? Now, I'll take you back to my school. We had internships, okay? And they would say, but in Makerere University, they sent you to internships and you don't really do anything. You just go to the hotels, walk around, have fun, have a coffee here and there, and you never really learn anything. So this is what happened with me when I did my internship in a hotel. I didn't learn anything, but this guy asked me, have you worked in a hotel? I told him, you know what, I interned for 1 month at Metropole Hotel in Kampala, and he asked me, how many stars does this hotel have? I honestly did not know how many stars this hotel has. So I told him, I'm not sure, maybe 4. He asked me, where is this hotel? I knew the location, you know.
Yes.
So I said it's in, you know, Acacia, it's just opposite of. So I told him the location of this hotel. He told me, did you experience any problems at this hotel? Like, were you there when they were experiencing any problems? And then I was like, you know, once I was at the reception and there's so many people that called about problems for internet. So this actually happened, and this is the truth, but this actually happened on the only day that I was there working, you know, and being productive, basically. Okay?
Yeah.
And then he asked me a question that they ask in all hotels here in the UAE. They ask you, have you, because most of the hotels here use Opera, and if you work for a Hilton hotel, they use OnQ. It's a property management system. So I'd never seen any of these.
Learning new things today
Okay.
as well.
You're welcome. So he asked me about this. I did not know it. I'd never seen it before. In Uganda, there is a system that I don't know until now. Actually, I need to educate myself. So if you know anyone that works in a hotel in Uganda, and they can
reach out
have
to
me,
her.
please, for like a 2 weeks internship, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So he asked me, I said, I didn't know. And then he asked, but I had seen it before. Like before I went for my interview, I googled a bit about like what's, you know, what they expect from you, and they send you as well the job description. So they mentioned this system that they use. So I googled it. I told him I've not used it, but I've seen it before. It's very important for you to know this system, and I did not know it. And they wanted a person with experience in this system, and I did not know it. I could have told this guy that, you know what, yeah, I know it, I can use it. Unfortunately, I did, but I told me, I don't know how to use it, but I've seen it before. He asked me, what's the color of this system? I said, it's blue. He was like, yeah, it's blue.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I feel like during this interview, this was my first ever interview for working in a hotel. I feel like this guy was trying to find like a lie in the things that I was telling,
saying,
you know, I was telling him, and he was fishing to find if I'm being truthful or not. And the fact that I was so honest about the crucial thing that they need, that you have to have opera knowledge, and I did not know it, but at least I had the initiative to look for it and find out how it looks like. I think this was one of the reasons this guy hired me, and he was very excited for me to join his company. I swear, when I
Tell
joined...
me, initially you were working at in a hotel in Uganda. You came to Dubai, next you're working in a hotel. Has this been your passion? Because you know very many people are in Dubai and are doing so many jobs that they have no qualification for or even studied for. They only get qualified at the job. So was this your passion?
Well, my passion is people. Wherever there's people, I thrive, you know. So I like, the favorite part of my day is sitting with a person and finding out how their day is, how I can make it better. And so in school, I have a degree. Hello.
Add it on to a PhD. 2 hellos.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Inshallah. But anyway, one of the course units that we studied in my while I was pursuing my degree in tourism management is hospitality management. And this was one of the things that interested me the most, and that is why I actually selected to go to the hotel, because you had options to go to a travel agency or an NGO that is like maybe, what's that? That's in charge of national parks in Uganda, that company.
Uganda Wildlife Authority.
Yes,
Uganda Wildlife
Wildlife Authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashid.
Thank you. Yes, you could choose either of those.
Yeah.
I chose to go to a hotel because I wanted to be exposed in that way, and I find so much happiness in just doing small little things. Like, you know, the person's stay doesn't begin when they check into the hotel. It begins when they call you to find out, actually not even calling, but when they're trying to find out about their future, say like if you have now an idea to like go somewhere, you will Google it.
Yes.
And then you try to reach out.
Yes.
So I like to be a part of every single touch point of those, because when people go to hotels, they go to make memories, and you will stay in their mind forever, and they will not. I love this. I enjoy it so much.
You even sound like you enjoy it. Now let's go straight to you getting the job. What was your training like?
Oh, it was so amazing. Well, first
What
of all,
what kind of environment is it like? Were they just Arabs? Were there any Africans? Because you know these are the questions that ring in our minds as Ugandans back home, and you're thinking, will I find Arabs? Will they torture me? This is what everybody knows about.
well,
you know?
I have been so lucky. I thank God every day, because this environment that I went to, that I was just absorbed, was a multicultural environment. We had people from everywhere. We had, and actually until now, even where I am right now, we have people from everywhere. We have people from, Eastern Europe, Western Europe. We have Africans, we have Asians, we have we have so many people. And in that area, like, I had a few Africans, so there was those people that were giving me training, because you would understand better from a person whom you can a little bit relate to. This is what I understood from the kind of training that they gave to me, because there's a buddy system, and they pair you with someone who will show you around and show you that this is how it's done and this is how it's done. And for the training bits, I got training from like the lowest thing that you can think of that happens in the hotel to the highest.
I was actually about to ask you, what is the lowest position or grade of somebody who is working in a hotel?
In my opinion, in my honest opinion, I feel like where you need to start is in the telephone operator, because this is the first touch point that a hotel will get, except online. This is the first touch point that the person who wants to stay in a hotel will do. They will call you to make a reservation to stay in a hotel. And so if you're in this place, you have to know everything. You have to know if you have valet parking, you have to know where the person can park, you have to know the directions to this place, you have to know the timings of everything, the make even of the pillows that you have, the size of the beds. You have to know everything, and this is the best place to learn about everything in a hotel. So you have to be at the telephones, and we call it operator. Most hotels call it operator. Some hotels call it different things, but in general it's operator. So this is the point where it's like a switchboard of sorts, where calls come in and you direct them wherever they're calling from. So this is,
I imagine that background, that magic.
Yeah.
Let me take you through to line 1, line 2.
Yes. So this is the best place to learn about everything in the hotel. You know all the F&B offerings, you know all the room types, you know all the everything. You know the type of bulbs that you use. You know how many diamonds are in the chandelier at your hotel. You know everything, even the minutest detail. So this is the best place to start, and this is how I started.
So then you get your job, you call back your mom back home and say, hey.
Oh, she was so excited.
Aww.
Oh, she was very excited.
Did you call her with two different types of news? I have good news for you and the bad news for you.
No, well, I always share news immediately.
Oh.
So so
I don't think if I told my mom that I'm coming to get a job and then I don't get it, I'll call her immediately, because my mom is so worried about me, always, everywhere I go. Even when she believes in me to do something, she's still so worried. Like if I tell her I'm just going for an interview, she'll call me 2 minutes to the interview, 1 minute to the interview, 0 minutes.
No, oh dear.
So
parents, bless them. Well, my mom is my support system as well. She prays for me more than anyone that I know. I think,
bless mothers.
And when I feel lost, I feel like I want to tell her, because I know she'll pray for me. And this is kind of the thing that keeps me telling her everything in real time, because if I don't get anything, I want her to pray for me. If I get it, I want her to pray for me that it sticks, And in Islam, the prayer of a mom is always answered. Your mother's prayer is always answered. So when your mother prays for you, intentionally with, and mothers always pray intentionally. They bare their souls when praying for their children.
Yes.
So I always share all my news in real time, like even with tears coming from my eyes. I'll tell her, you know, this happened.
Yeah, that's
A B C D E F G, and she would calm you down, and she'll be like, don't worry, everything will be fine. You know, she encourages you to pray, and also reinforces that I will pray for you as well, but you also need to pray for yourself, and you know, find a solution, and I know that you can do it, and just, you know, that extra nudge that you need to know that everything is going to be okay. So I did share everything in real time. Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to know about the challenges that you faced while you are here. Like, you go to work, everything is going on perfect, but suddenly you're like, what? Could this have been the best decision?
Well, my biggest challenge is being away from home. Clearly, like sometimes I'm so homesick that I
But
want.
you still do get homesick.
Yes, I do. This is why I'm saying my biggest challenge is, and
Yes.
you know, because you know, I'm a mommy's child. I think I should say I'm a mommy's girl, and every time I need my mom, sometimes I just want to drop things and just go back home. You know, every time I have a hard day at work, maybe. You know, someone screamed at me, or maybe we had a disagreement.
Yes, screamed at you. They're so delicate.
Yes. Okay, this is a bad example, but that's a bad example. But anyway,
I know.
the biggest problem is being homesick. It happens ever so often.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just want to drop things and just go home and not come back. But at the same time, I remember that I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And I have to secure the bag.
All right. So how do you overcome these challenges? There could be more that
There's
you're
more,
probably
actually.
not comfortable with sharing, because I mean, this video could go anywhere, and you know.
No. I am good. This is one of them. This is the biggest one. It happens like so often. Like I want to go home so often.
Yeah.
So that's why before the pandemic, I would go home at least twice a year.
Yes.
Just to bring myself back together. You know.
Yeah.
Another challenge I face is, as you know, this is a multicultural environment, and so sometimes you might have a different perception than what the other person means, and vice versa. They
This is
might,
true.
you know, they might misunderstand you because they feel like there's a stereotype that, for example, that Africans, like black Africans, like let's say East and West African people, are aggressive and they have attitude, and there's a perception that North African people, Egyptians, Moroccan, are obnoxious, you know. And so to overcome these
Challenges.
stereotypes, you know, when you speak to someone and you say a certain word, and instead of understanding this word, they kind of like understand it in a different way, you know. This has been such a challenge for me, you know, because being an African, we are not told to sit down and, you know, take whatever it is. You have to ask questions and understand what the person is telling you, and most people don't receive this well. They're not very
They find it
receptive.
very offensive.
They
Like,
find
why are
it
you
very,
asking
very
me that?
offensive. And sometimes it can, you know, come in the way of your career, because they'll say this person is just too much, and you know, we cannot put them in this position because she'll be ABCD. So this in the beginning was a very big hindrance for me to kind of like start to grow my career, you know, because I had then to learn how to categorize people and how to like alterate my actions towards them, and to learn how to take their actions towards me as well, you know. This was a very, very big problem. The other one was, in the beginning, the working hours were ridiculous for me, you know. You have to work night shifts, day shifts. Like working in a hotel, you don't have a specific time that you work. You work nights, you work days, you work afternoons, you know. Some people who work in the food and beverage sector work even like split shifts. So you come in the morning until 12 and then come back at 8 to, you know. So this for me also took a lot of time to kind of adjust to and get used to it and be like, okay, this is and in retrospect, actually you work less hours here than the people back home do. But it's just, I think, a mindset that you have, that why must I work nights then afternoons, and you know, why can't I have a steady work plan like a 9 to 6? But you understand as you go along that this just comes with time.
This is the job type that I'm doing right now.
Exactly. And it's a journey as well, because as an agent that I was that time, I didn't have I had no choice. Whatever they put you, that's where, because you know, you're needed to do the check-in and to do the check-out, and that's it. And
Yes.
this is a 24-hour thing, so they have to do the rotation, you know. As you grow in the career in the hotel business, then the timings begin to become stable. So this also took me a while to kind of understand. It was very bothersome for me, you know. I almost quit one time. Yeah, so that's one other challenge. Another one was, in the beginning, I could not find anything to eat. Like, there's so much rice and chicken and
Yes.
all this. And I got actually a stomach infection in the first few months that I lived here because of this. I couldn't find anything to eat, so I just kept on drinking funny things. And,
Yeah.
you know, I ended up being sick and getting admitted. But once you live in Dubai and learn the ins and outs, then
You sound
life
like you're
is
having enough
sweet.
food.
Yes.
Now, I would want to know, what advice do you have to give to people? Because there are people that are still facing these challenges. We have people right now that are living in Dubai that do not have jobs. They're still looking for jobs. Others have been employed before and they don't have jobs. What advice do you have to give to them?
Well, for those that have been employed before and don't have jobs, you have to like look at it as a glass half full situation, because you do have the experience. Now all you have to do is put yourself out there, you know, give yourself exposure. Networking is very important. You know, people from the place that you worked before, use them as your connections to put you through to you know, your next opportunity. For those that have unfortunately not been able to secure jobs, I urge you to not give up.
Yes.
I urge you also to not be like, and this is just my humble opinion, I think that if you have a direction of something that you're looking for, then that's easier for you to get. You know, because I've seen so many people in Dubai, they make their CV for waitressing and
Yes,
and
this
all
is
these
so wrong.
things and all these things. You have to have a focus. You have to know that this is what I'm looking for and this is what I am
want.
going to get, you
I
know.
will get this.
And once you set that goal, then you prepare yourself towards that direction.
Yes.
You just don't go because there's a walk-in interview here that
True.
you've heard, oh, they're hiring gardeners, let me go and
Yes.
check it out, you
Yes.
know. If you want to be a waitress, don't go for a gardener's interview.
Exactly.
This is wasting your time and taking away resources from like what you could have been used to actually find the opportunity that you're looking for, you know. The other thing is, please, when you go all this, put yourself together, like have your hair done,
This is true.
dress up nice,
Yeah.
wear a perfume, you
Yes.
know. And when you meet people, be nice, say hello.
Exactly. Because you don't even know who's going to interview you next.
Exactly, you know, exactly. You might find the security guard downstairs guiding you upstairs, and this is going to be the person that will sit opposite of you and be like, oh, hi, how are you? So you're here for, you know,
Yes.
because they do this a lot.
A lot.
They do this very much here, you know. You have to present yourself in the best light possible. I know I've said this, but it's very important. So the tricks: networking, focus, and present yourself in the best light. Know that nobody is going to present you better than you are going to present yourself, because you know yourself from, you know, the ins and the outs. And yeah, everything should work out. I mean, if you have like a direction that you've set yourself out to and you're not being all over, then you should find, this is what worked for me, because I knew that I wanted to be in the hospitality industry. After I did not find that job, I set my mind on this, because I knew that this is what I wanted to do, you know. So I got a few jobs before I got the job that I wanted for, but I did not take them. You know, the people called me for interviews. I didn't go for those interviews because this is not what I wanted. And
It's important to actually really know what you want. Let's go
very-
quickly on your position currently.
Eh.
Take us through, tell us, I went through P1, P2, and where you are right now. Because, you know, everybody else right now is thinking, wow, she has a lot of sense, but what does she do?
Well, so for starters, I started as a front desk agent at Rotana, which is a local UAE brand. And in that company, I grew from front desk agent to a team leader to a front office supervisor, and then I moved to Marriott International, where I moved as a guest relations supervisor. From then, I became a front office supervisor, and currently I am rooms controller, and this is an assistant manager position.
Woohoo! So anything is actually possible in Dubai. I do tell people that, you know, anywhere you are in the world has your goal.
Yeah.
It's for you to just dream it and make it happen. It doesn't matter where you are. Thank you. She gave me her business card.
Please do give me a call in case you need anything.
Wow. I surely will do so. So, you know, I have asked you so many questions. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Well,
I don't think so.
No, well, you know, I don't want to ask you any more questions, but I also wanted you to like kind of share a few things that you think people should do, because I don't think I've exhausted all the things that people could do if they're trying to find their place here in Dubai. But I think that, you know, you being very knowledgeable about this city, you could have like insight as well. Because for me, I only shared what I did. This is what I did, and I think it works wonders if you do the way that I did it, you know. So is there anything that
Is there anything that
that you would recommend for these people to, like those people who are like stranded and cannot find their way here and all this?
you know, this is not like any other interview that I've done, because you had a goal, you had a focus, and pushed for it and looked for something else. So many people are still confused about what they want. See, this is different. So many other people are still confused about how can I go about it, but you knew how to go about it and what to do. What does this mean? You had the information. Information is power. Because I think I had a conversation with you and we were talking about Ugandan tourism, and was saying, can you believe there are people who don't know that you must have a passport?
Yeah.
Can you believe that there are people who need to, you know, the internet is open and it's out there for everybody. Information is power. Just like my mother always stresses, information is power. Wano manya no chirata kumanya. When you know, you are better than that person that does not know. So try at least to say that I know this. Just like she was saying, I know this, I've seen this, but I don't know how it works. Not like, oh my God, what is this? What does it do?
Yeah.
No one has even interest in telling you what it does and how it operates. So my only advice, information is power. Wano manya no chirata kumanya.
Said.
So thank you so much, everybody, and of course, like I told you, Shakira is my friend. I really wish you the best in life in everything that you're doing, and I like the fact that you've always been a go-getter since school. Like since S1, the girl has been a go-getter. She knew what she wanted. So Clayt, I said, this one. So I try to keep her close, call her and check up on her. Hey girl, are you there? Are you okay? Are you fine? Can I see you? Can I not see you? I really try to stay in touch with everyone that I know here. I really, really, really do. And thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you after so many years. Guys, I have done a lot to have this interview for you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I'm honestly honored to even just be seated here and talking about this, because so many people want to hear about experience. You know, most people hear about terrible experiences about the UAE, and they don't know that this is such a great place to live, you know.
This is a beautiful city. Whatever you have heard, please unlearn it. Hear from us. You can make it here. Opportunities, chances, growth is possible.
I think it's possible here more than anywhere else in the world, honestly.
This is true.
I think it's possible. Because here you can make your own way. You can make your own way.
You decide.
Yes. Yes.
You decide.
Oh,
thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I really love this interview.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you all for watching. Do let me know on what you think about this. And of course, I know a lot of you are going to ask me about Shakira's skin. I will tell you on Instagram. If you don't follow me already, my name is Clayt Love on Instagram and Clayt Chotare on Facebook. And what's yours?
Mine is Shakira Kabine on Facebook. Well, that's why the privacy is there. I'll choose who will follow me and who will not.
Yes.
But anyway, you can find me. I'm very easy to find. If you follow her, you'll see me somehow.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Do take good care of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye.